Guys, I'm asking here, please tell me. I'm asking if the very same graph, the blue graph, does it exist on this X part? Remember, this is X. This is X. Does the graph exist there? Do I have?
No, sir.
No.
So it's different, Kubone. It's different that from that one that I'm saying the graph will continue, continue, continue. Why? Because the arrows are saying continue. Here there's no arrow to say continue. So the graph does not exist at this point. So we can't say X element of real numbers. Why? This graph does not exist at this point. It start existing. I like to use the word alive. The graph is alive from this point. They say it's defined when they say it mathematically. The graph is defined from this point. It's alive from this point. Up to where? Up to somewhere. Because now the arrow says continue njalo njalo, forever and ever, amen. You are going to continue like that. Okay. Or if we interpret from the left, because obviously we always interpret from the left, we would say the graph is starting somewhere on the left hand side where we don't know, but it's gonna end where we know. Where is it ending? It's ending at this point. But where did it start? It started somewhere where we don't know. How do we represent that part of where we don't know? It's negative infinity, since it's going to the negative numbers. So on the X values, looking at the X values, since the graph is not alive this side of the X values, we cannot talk about, we cannot say the graph exists this side. Equal, it's not available. So I would agree with someone who's saying X is less or equals to positive 2. X is less or equals to positive 2. Or someone can say X is, I will write square brackets. This is where I hate these brackets, because sometimes the brackets now they confuse. Sorry, I'm writing the wrong thing. This is the one that must be a normal bracket, this one, and then this one must be this bracket. Or someone can say X lies between negative infinity to positive 2, and then we include the equal sign there for positive 2. So either you write like the first one, or the second one, or the third one. Or the second one, I made a mistake again. Sorry for that, guys. Let me just wrap up this so that I can have enough space to write. Sorry for that. We're going to say X is the element of negative infinity to 2, and then we close with the square brackets. Or we can say X lies between negative infinity and 2. I myself, I prefer the first one. I prefer the first one, the one I highlighted. I prefer to write like that. It makes life easy. I'm saying starting from 2, so at 2 the graph is alive. So that's why I'm saying I'm including the equal sign. Starting from 2, and when I'm going that side of 2, I'm going to the numbers that are less than 2. Oh, my rubber now. When I'm going that side, I'm going to the numbers that are less than 2, and I'm going that side. Remember, I'm talking about the Y values. If you talk about the Y values, I said, remember, you move from the, X values, sorry guys. You move from the X-axis, you touch the graph. As long as this thing is gonna go like that, and this one, if I move from the X-axis, I will touch the graph. So all the values that are smaller than 2, the graph is alive. is defined, is existing. I believe if it can come in the test and then they put it like that and they say what is the domain, someone will be able to answer it. Will you be able to answer it? Talk to me.
Yes.
Okay. Let's talk about this one. Kubone, what is the domain of this one? Kubone doesn't want to answer. Libenya, what is the domain of this one? Kwanda? Baloi? Hey, guys, am I still there? Yes, Baloi.
X is an element of real numbers.
Why do you say that?
Because you do not know what the graph starts or ends.
Thank you. X is the element of real numbers. That will be the domain for this graph. Thank you, Baloi. X is the element of real numbers. You guys know that you can say from negative infinity to positive infinity. You can write like that. But I explained why my reasons I don't like to write like this. When you say X element of real numbers, we included the negative infinity and the positive infinity there. Okay. Let's go back to the graph that I've drawn. Let's go back to that graph. What would be the range of this graph? I think Zwanga said something about range would be y is less or equals to 4. And Baloi decided to join her and say she think that she's gonna go with that. Can I also join and say, yeah, I'm also going to go with that? Why do we say less than? The graph is moving down, so it's moving to the smaller numbers of y values. It's moving to the smaller numbers, so it's moving to the lesser numbers, less than 4. It's moving to the less than 4. So we're going to say y is less or equal to 4. But remember, someone can say y is an element of negative infinity, up to 4, and then we write that. And someone can still say y lies between negative infinity and 4. Okay, but guys, Mina, I prefer this. I will always show you what I prefer, and then it's up to you to choose which one do you prefer, depending on what does your teacher say in class, based on what Mr. Rapnana did and what your teacher did. Which one do you understand best? I'm not worried about that. I'm okay with that. Okay, if I may ask here, what is the range of this graph? The blue one, the one I highlighted in blue. Let me remove the highlighter, or let me emphasize the highlighter. What is the range of this graph? Someone talk.
Y is an element of real numbers.
Why do you say that?
Because you do not know what the graph starts or ends.
On the y-axis, right? You need to specify. We need to.
Y-axis.
Yes, on the y-axis, we don't know where does the graph starts. We don't know where does the graph ends. Hence, we are going to say y is the element of real numbers. Now, let's talk about this one here. The one that is drawn for us. Let's talk about that. Oh, I want to remove these things, but I'll try to remove this and put them somewhere so that they don't mess up here. Let's try to talk about the one that is drawn for us. We spoke about the domain and the range of the g of x. They've written for us g there. They've written for us g of x. They've written for us f of x. I said today's lesson we must focus on finding the equation. We must focus on finding the equation. So you guys are going to tell me, can I just do this? I think it's doable what I want to do. I was not aware that it can do. Okay. Oh yeah. What I wanted to do yenzeka. So let me just do this. Okay, yeah, it's there. So now it's not gonna disturb us anymore. I want us to answer the first question. But before we answer the first question, can I just ask here, what is the domain of the f of x graph? F of x is the parabola, right? The one that is facing down. What is the domain of the f of x graph?
Element of real numbers.
Okay, we spoke about that enough yesterday. What would be the range? What would be the range? Can I hear someone else? What would be the range of the parabola graph? The f of x.
Y is the element of real numbers on the y-axis.
Y is the element of real numbers. Okay. Can I just emphasize what I'm talking about? Because I want to be sure if you're answering the question I'm asking, Libenya. I'm talking about this graph. The range of this graph. Is it the one that you're answering? Libenya? Was it the one that you're
Yes,
answering?
sir.
Okay. Can I please not agree with that and hear someone else? Can I hear some? Rulani? Rulani is here, right?
Sir.
Yes. What is the range of that graph? Talk to me, Rulani. Remember, your answer is not right. Your answer is not wrong until you say it.
Sir, isn't it x is the element of a number?
The range is y. The range we look at y. Where does the graph start? Where does the graph
Y.
ends? Where does the graph start? Where does it end? On the y-axis. Yes, I'm listening.
Yes, I'm not sure, sir.
Okay, Kubwane, talk to me. Kubwane, the range. Okay, no problem. Kwanda sometimes just be quiet, but when he knows the answers, he's the first one to answer. Kwanda, talk to me, please. Okay, Zanga.
So y is less than or equal to 8.
Why do you say that?
So because the it cuts, like it goes on the y-axis like point A and the y is 8.
Okay. The graph cannot go above point A. That's what you're saying.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. The answer to that question is y. Y is less or equals to 8, because it's talking about all the values that are smaller than 8, all of them. If you check these numbers, smaller than 8, smaller than all these numbers, they are smaller than 8. Starting from 8 going down, all the values are smaller than 8. That's why we say less or equals to 8. Thank you. Now, let's answer the question. The first one. It is saying determine the equations of the f of x and the g of x. Determine the equations of the f of x and the g of x. Remember, the f of x, the equation is y is equals to mx plus c. And the g of, that is the g of x. The f of x, the equation is y is equals to ax squared plus c. Oh, plus c here. Why did I not write that? I don't know what happened. Now, let's start with the straight line. I know all of you know how to find the equation of a straight line. So let's start with that. Konje, we said we need what to find the equation of a straight line? The G graph. We need what? Guys,
A gradient at 1 point.
thank you. Do we have the gradient? Do we have the gradient? We don't. Okay. Do we have 1 point?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So step number 1, let's calculate the gradient. Konje, formula gradient itini? What is the formula to calculate the gradient? M for the gradient is equals to, yes, I'm listening.
y2 minus y1.
Y2 minus Y1 divided by
x2 minus x1.
X2 minus X1. I said when you are in the exam room, do yourself a favor. Write this X1, Y1, and then X2, Y2. Do yourself a favor so that you can be able to know what to substitute. So the gradient, what do I put in space of Y2?
-4.
-4 minus Y1?
0.
0 divided by X2?
0.
0 minus X1?
-2.
Can I write plus here? Because it's
Yes, sir.
0 minus minus 2. So negative times negative will be positive 2. And someone press the calculator, tell us the answer. Thank you. -2. Now we know the gradient. We go to this formula. Y minus Y1 is equals to the gradient into X minus X1. Let's try to remember. I said to make your life easy and make sure that you don't make a mistake, we substitute a point here, X1, Y1, and we substitute the gradient. Those are the only 3 things you can substitute. So you can either choose B or you can choose D. It's up to you which one do you choose. So I'm going to substitute there. Y, I'll write it as it is, minus. What do I put in space of Y1? Take a point, 0. 0 goes with -2, right? Don't forget that. Equals to the gradient we calculated, -2 into X minus. What do I put in space of X1? -2. Can I write a plus here?
Yes.
Yes, -2. So I'm going to say plus 2. Okay. What is Y minus 0? I'm waiting for the answer. What is Y minus 0?
Y.
Y is equals to, let's multiply the brackets. The first answer will be what?
-2x.
-2x. The next one?
-4.
-4. Done. That is your graph, which is your G of X. That is your graph there. G of X. Questions? I'm waiting for questions. No questions. Okay. Since there are no questions, yes, someone wants to ask or answer.
Oh, I see, sir. I see.
Oh, okay. You wanted something. Okay, no problem. Now, Can we move on to the graph of, remember guys, the straight line we did many times when we were doing analytical geometry. We're doing it many times. Just remember that you need two things. If you don't have the gradient, you must calculate the gradient. And you can't calculate the gradient without 2 points, unless there's a story about parallel lines and perpendicular lines. If there's no story about that, you don't have a choice. Okay, now let's talk about this graph, the parabola graph. The standard form of the equation of that graph is y is equals to ax squared plus c. What did I say about c, if you remember? What did I say about c? Remind me. C is what? Kwanda, you're talking?
C can be a y value.
Y, let's say y-intercept. Let's not say y value. Yes, it can be a y value, but let's specify and say the y-intercept, right? So, and I think I did emphasize why am I saying that? Because if you've got y is equals to ax squared plus c. If you want the y-intercept, what do? Please remind me if I'm looking for the y-intercept. Thank you. So I'm going to have y is equals to a, and then in space of x I put 0, then squared plus c. What would be the answer here?
0.
Thank you. Because I'm going to have 0 multiplied by a. For the fact that I will always have 0 here if I put substitute x to be 0, it means my y-intercept will always be c, as long as it is in this format. So, there is something that you are given on the graph. Look at the graph. Look at the graph. I'm removing that so that I don't confuse someone. There is something that is given to you there. What is given to you?
A point.
You are given points. You are given points. Let me remove the highlighters and ask questions now. What do we call this point? What do we call that point?
Point of intersection.
Oh, yeah, point of intersection. And again, it's what point? I was not aware of that. Now I'm aware. Again, it's what point? Okay, let's talk about this one. What do we call this point? Guys, the point is on this line. What is this line?
X-axis.
X-axis. Then, what is this point? You've got the answer, but you don't want to say it. No problem. X-intercept. So here we've got the x-intercept, and that x-intercept is also the point of intersection. What is this point?
Y-intercept.
Thank you. Y-intercept. Before we start, what do we know here? What do we know there? You're aware that I was explaining the same thing some few minutes ago. I'm gonna repeat myself.
That y is equals to c.
Thank you. And we've got c there from the graph. It means we've got y. What is that y-intercept? Y-intercept is c. What is the y-intercept? So let's put the y-intercept where it belongs. Where does it belong? It belongs in the space of c. So I'm going to say y is equals to ax squared plus c. Then I will say y is equals to ax squared, and then I know c is what? It's plus 8. I'm gonna pause and wait for the question. Since there is no question, let's move on. What is my next step? My next step is to find the value of A because I know the value of C.
Sir,
Yes, please.
why did you choose 8 and not -4?
Why did I choose 8 and not -4? Nice question. Thank you. 8 is on this graph. Am I right?
Oh, yes.
And then -4 is on this graph.
G graph. Oh, yes.
And I'm working with the F graph. So the F graph has nothing to do with -4. That is why I chose the y-intercept of the G graph. I mean of the F graph, which is 8. Can we move on? Okay, thank you. Then from here, we take a point and substitute. Let's take a point and substitute. Which point? You take a point that is on the graph. Any point. As long as you know the y-intercept and a point, it's easy. Take a point that is on the graph. Which point? Take any point. But any point that you're taking must be on the graph. So, there are 2 points which are on the graph. There is this point here, and then there is this point here. So which one are we going to take? And both points have got x and y. Which one can we take? Let's say we take B. Let's take B. At B, y is 0 is equals to a, x is -2 squared plus 8. Okay. Then from here, we've got 0 is equals to, what is the answer here? +4, -4.
Positive.
+4. Then +4 multiplied by A. The answer will be +4A. Am I right?
Yes.
And then plus 8. Then what do we do from here? Hello?
Do we factorize?
Do we factorize? I don't know. Do we factorize? Remember, we're looking for A.
Oh, transpose.
Okay. Transpose, then we've got 8 is equal, -8 is equals to 4A. Then what do we do from here?
Divide by 4 on both sides.
Divide by 4 both sides. Divide by 4. Divide by 4. Then my answer for A is equals to how much?
-2.
A is equals to -2. Then I take A back to the equation. Then it means I will have y is equals to A is -2 x squared plus 8. Then I've got my f of x now. Is f of x this one? Ne? Now I've got my f of x. I've got my f of x. Get laughing. I've got my f of x now. Okay. Do we have a question? We found 2 equations here. The equation of a straight line and then the equation of the parabola. I'm waiting for a question. How many minutes are we remaining with?
12.
12. Okay. In the 12 minutes. Okay, no problem. Let's talk about this question. I want you to do this one. Calculate the coordinates of this point. Kwenje, what is this point?
Point of intersection.
Thank you. Point of intersection. How are we going to calculate the coordinates of that point?
By equalizing the graphs.
So we're going to have f of x is equals to g of x. That's what we're going to do, right? Please make sure that you do that and then you show me the answers. Do that and show me the answers. Okay. For now, in the remaining minutes, they are saying f of x is parallel to the y-axis. I mean f and g. So what am I saying? FG, that line there is parallel to the y-axis. So those 2 lines will never meet. Remember, parallel lines never meet. Okay. Determine the length of the vertical line FG. How do I do that?
Using the distance formula.
Do I know the coordinates of F? Do I know the coordinates of G? I agree with you, my girl. But please answer that. Do I know the coordinates of F? Do I know the coordinates of G?
Of G, yes.
What are the coordinates of G?
1 and -6.
You are going to say you look by looking, ne?
Yes.
I know, Baloy. You are going to say by looking, ne?
Yes.
Okay, let's not assume. Let's not use by looking today, Baloy. So basically, we don't know the coordinates. But luckily, we know that this line is F, E, G. It's one line. Am I right?
Yes.
Yes. So since we know the line FEG, it means we can agree that the value of x at this point is the same as the value of x at this point. It is the same as the value of x at this point. Still the same as the value of x is this point. Still the same as the value of x is this point. Basically, I'm trying to say the value of x is the same throughout this line. Do we agree?
Yes.
Okay. Do we have a question before I can continue?
No.
No question. Okay, since there is no question, now it means back to your statement, Waloi. At this point, we know the value of x is 1. We don't know the value of y. At this point, we know the value of x is 1. We don't know the value of y. And they said the vertical line. So the vertical line is talking about the y line. So, how are we going to find y? Let's use common signs. How are we going to find y? Add f and how? Yes?
You agree the G, you connect it to the Y axis.
You are saying
You put a line between the Y axis to the G. Like,
I'm trying to understand what you're saying. You're talking about this point.
yes.
You're saying it does what? It connects to the G graph.
No, not the graph, the axis. The line.
What I did here.
Yes.
Oh, I knew that Baloy would say that. That's why I said today let's not talk about that. Because now we are assuming we don't know. Today let's not use assumption. Let's use calculations. That's why I'm asking. Thank you for that, by the way. Let's not use assumption today. Let's use calculations. How are we going to use the calculations? Because the G graph is on top of the straight line graph, and on the straight line graph we know the value of x. Take the straight line graph. Y is equals to negative 2x minus 4. What do we know on this graph? We know x. So I'm going to remove x and put y is equals to negative. In place of x, I put what? I put 1 minus 4. Then I get my y value at this point. I'm waiting for the answer, by the way.
-6.
So now I know the value of y at that point is -6. And -6. And then the value of y at the top there, I do the same thing. Because now that one is on the f graph, the parabola. I'm going to say y is equal to -2 x squared plus 8. Then it means I'll say y is equal to -2 and then put what? 1 because x is 1 squared plus 8. And my answer is y is equal to how much?
+6.
+6. Okay. +6. From this point to this point is 6 units. From this point to this point is 6 units. So what is the distance?
12 units. From which point to which point? From point F to G?
Yes.
12 units.
Okay, I'm gonna leave it there. You guys will use the distance formula to check if the answer is the same as 12 units. I'm gonna leave it there. By the way, this time I extended. There's another questions down there, so please do those questions down there. I will show you. This one was -6. There are questions down there. Remember, we answered the question to the range. The only question we're left with is 6.4 there. Make sure that you answer that also. There are questions here. Make sure that you answer that. Yes. And guys, please, man, when you answer, just answer and then send to me. Don't do this thing of answering and say, I answered, but I don't know if you answered or not. So answer those questions, send them to me, so that at least I can understand that whatever that you did there, you do understand. Then at least I can also correct you. Thank you for your time. Till we meet again. When? Monday, ne? Bye-bye.